Before we get into this video is sponsored by Pro Guides. If you are dedicated to improving as a player, I highly recommend you check them out. Link in the description.
There's no way we're gonna win it, but nice. I'm dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mickey C, aka TheLoLHounds, and today we are going to be looking at a Shaco one-trick player and focusing on his build. Now, he's currently ranked 8th on the NA server, which shows how strong Shaco is right now in solo queue. Being in the top 10 is obviously a pretty solid effort. He goes by the summoner name Beautiful Korean. No surprise there, another Korean dominating the game. Anyway, this video is going to focus on his runes, masteries, item build, and skill order. Now, the big thing I want to point out with Shaco is so far this season, AP Shaco has been the go-to build for many players. However, in patch 7.2, as some of you may know, Lethality got a fairly decent buff. That, along with a small nerf to Hextech Gunblade, which was one of the core items of AP Shaco, at least for the jungle AP Shaco, and this looks to have changed the best, or in general most optimal build for Shaco at the moment. Also, if you look at the website champion.gg, the new highest win rate build is now a lethality build, which is exactly the same build this Shaco main uses. So without further ado, let's get into this build guide. So first of all, summoner spells. He takes Smite and Ignite. It seems to mainly be preference as to whether Shaco players take Flash or Ignite, but for the most part, they usually take Ignite, and that is the same in this case. Runes and Masteries. Very simple. Masteries, he takes 12-18-0, with his keystone mastery being Thunderlord's Decree. The main things to point out with his mastery page is he takes Sorcery over Fury in the Ferocity tree and Wanderer over Savagery in the Cunning tree. I think that's very interesting. I guess he feels he doesn't need the Savagery early game and prefers the early ability power over attack speed from Sorcery. Also, make sure you get those 5 points in precision for the extra early game lethality. Runes, he takes 9 AD reds, 9 armor yellows, 9 AP blues, and 3 attack speed quints. Now onto his item build, and he pretty much goes for the exact same build every single game, meaning that he feels it is the best build in every situation at the moment, or maybe it is just the build he enjoys playing the most. Regardless, it is obviously still a very strong build that seems to work very well at the moment. So starting items would be a hunter's machete and a refillable potion. As for his first back, if he has enough gold, he will get the Tiamat. Tiamat costs 1200 gold, which is quite a lot of gold for your first back. So if he doesn't have enough gold for it, he would just buy boots with a longsword or 2. His core build, and exactly in this order, would be Tiamat, Berserker Greaves, Duskblade, Edge of Night, Infinity Edge, Lord Dominic's Regards, and then he will upgrade his Tiamat into a Titanic Hydra. Notice he never builds his jungle item, he just gets the Hunter's Machete level 1, and that's that. No Warrior and no Runic Echoes. He doesn't really consider any other items apart from Mortal Reminder instead of Lord Dominic's Regards, and Ravenous Hydra instead of that Titanic Hydra, so that keeps it nice and simple. He never builds the AP Shaco build as well, however it is still a viable build in my opinion, and you can consider it, especially if your team is full AD, so you need that AP. As for his skill order, he starts W, then Q, then E level 3, maxes Q first, E second, W third, and his ultimate whenever he can. Finally, I will quickly go over his starting jungle clear. So level 1, he puts 2 boxes on blue buff and 2 boxes on Gromp. He also always asks for a leash. Usually Shaco players don't really need a leash, however because he only puts the 2 boxes on blue, a leash is very much needed. From the 4 or 5 games I did watch, he went with the exact same starting jungle clear on both sides, which is blue buff into Gromp, into Wolves, into red buff, into Krugs, smite Krugs, and then do Scuttle Crab. After doing Scuttle Crab, he always seemed to ward near the enemy Gromp. I guess he's just trying to scout out where the enemy jungler is, and then from this position, he'll make his decision on whether to gank, counter jungle, or just back. As for his playstyle, I noticed he focused a lot on just farming. He never ganked level 2 or 3, which is something you often see from Shaco players, especially once he gets that Tiamat. He often just did a full jungle clear whenever his camps were up, and only looked for counter ganks and ganks that were easy kills. Once he got a few items and his Q was maxed, that's when he started to look for more assassinations on the enemy squishy targets, especially once he got that Edge of Night. He always waited for his Edge of Night active to be up before going in, so make sure you always do that when you get that item. Another thing I noticed is whenever his ultimate was available, he took every opportunity he could to solo Dragon or Rift Herald. Shaco does do both Dragon and Rift Herald very quickly and easily with his clone, and he got both those objectives quite a few times in the games I spectated. Anyway, that pretty much does it for the build guide. That is the lethality build on Shaco and the highest ranked NA Shaco. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It appears that lethality on Shaco is a very strong build at the moment, so I definitely recommend trying it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, drop that like button, and as always, have a nice day.